everybody. Welcome to Saturday Solutions. I'm Katie, and we are here to have some fun, read some cards, and hopefully maybe find a solution for the days ahead. Can't do that though from here. You can't see cards from here. How would you like to look at my table, huh? Let me switch it. I'll be right back. There we go. Okay, well, first off, I need to tell you what the layout is, why there's so many cards, and they're one card, except up here there's two, from different decks. They're all oracle cards, except for this card, and this card, and this card. This is a tarot card. This is an affirmation card, and this is an empowerment card. All the rest are oracle cards. Okay, the cards in the center are by Colette Baron Reed. It's a mix across. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. It forms a cross, which is also the four directions. So let me explain to you what they are. Here we have the West, which is our current position. This is today. This is the sunset. This is the end of the day. Over here, we have sunrise in the east. We have the promise of a new day and opportunity. This is where our goals are, our desires are, and what we're trying to manifest. This is where we're trying to finally end up, okay? Here, we have the south. This is also the valley. This is our card from Gaia, Mother Earth, and nature. This is also a card that can be a warning or a description of a possible obstacle. As can happen in valleys, there's rivers and creeks go through valleys. If you're wanting to not get out in the open, there can be lots and lots of open spaces in the valley, fields of grass. So we can come up with, and it's all a perception, all a perspective in most of these cards. But this is the direction of the south. Up here, we have the north. The north is a mountain. And it all depends on how you look at mountains. If you are someone that was raised, say, I don't know, in the middle of the Midwest, where you don't have high mountains like you have in the West and parts of the Northeast, mountains are different for you. They might close you in. I had a father who was raised in Oklahoma, and he liked living out in the open where he could see a long ways. For myself personally, I was raised in the mountains, and I feel kind of secluded and held in and comforted by the mountain. So it all depends on how you look at the mountain, is whether it's an obstacle. One thing that we all know about mountains is to get to the other side, you have to either go through it, up over it, or around it. Or we can just blow it out of the way. Like I said, this is the only tarot card. This is from the Mystic Medleys deck. And I think you'll enjoy that card. Yeah, I'm sorry. That deck's by Gary Hall. I was just cruising through the book, okay? It's a fun book to look through. Like, okay, look, here, I'll show you the book. Now, does it give you an idea what our tarot card is going to look like? They're cartoons, okay? Anyway, you either go through that, or you obliterate it, or you go over it or around it. You can climb it. That's going over it. The card in the center, you notice I missed. I didn't really miss it. I kind of skipped all the way around it. This is for entertainment purposes only. This card reading is just for fun. It's not for any kind of advice or anything like that. There, that's my disclaimer. If you'd like to subscribe, I would love to have you come back. If you just want to lurk, you're always welcome. I do have a live stream on Monday mornings to kind of help give you a boost for your Monday and your week. The very best way you could support me, though, is to give me a like, hit that thumbs up. It's free. It takes very little of your time. I thank you so much. Now, back to the reading. I'm so sorry. This card is a map. This is from the Enchanted Map deck. Like I said, all three of these cards are from Colette Baron Reed. This is a map on where we have to focus our practices, our thoughts, where we have to keep our mind understanding the now. But this is the map on how to get around all this stuff. Each of the directions. This is what we have to keep in mind to see the horizon line and to understand that especially like in the valley, you can see it looks very, very flat. But there's a canyon with a river in it that you can't see from where you're at. It's just a flat horizon line. This map gives you a view of all of that from way ahead. Tells you what to plan for. This card is from the Earth Wisdom deck, Oracle deck. It's our message from Spirit this week. I was happy when Spirit told me to use that. And then up here in this corner, we have an affirmation card, like I said before. It's from the Take What You Need deck. And there's two cards here. And then finally, our very last card is our message from the animals, our animal brothers and sisters. They are our brothers and sisters. Yeah. So here we go. Are you guys ready to start this? I sure am. Let's begin here with our current situation. Oh, and it's in the medicine position as well. The blade. I'm going to turn it the right side up so you can see how pretty a card is. This is from the Mystical Shaman deck by Colette Baron Reed. It is a 6 card, which is about harmony and cooperation and healing. This is where we are right now. We're in preparations for some eclipses in the next couple weeks. As in the next couple days on the lunar eclipse. Well, actually, isn't the lunar eclipse today, isn't it? Anyway, it depends on when you're watching this. We had a lunar eclipse, and coming up in April, the first part of April, we have a solar eclipse. You know, what I'm seeing in those jewels and gems as they sparkle in that blade, some of those are holes that are letting the light through here. This is pretty much a rusty blade. If this card was right side up, if we would have gotten it that way, it would be telling you to pick up your swords, even the old rusty ones, the ones from your ancestors. They're going to fight with you. But we got it in medicine position, which is the reverse, which is telling us to put down our blade. It's old and tired of the fight. The understanding now needs to be that in victory, it must come spiritually, not physically, not by force, but by seeking. And I would say maybe half the population even gets that idea. Put my sword down? No way. How do I protect myself? There's lots of ways to protect yourself without having a weapon. That can do harm to others. So much fear and worry about what if, because of violent promises being made and spewed from a source that isn't firing on all cylinders. And yeah, you can leave hate comments too. Doesn't mean they'll stay there. I normally do not allow politics into this reading, but in this particular instance, it's screaming it in this card. We're tired of the fight. The best way to win the fight is the silent way. You are the only ones who know the silent way. It's whatever works for you on that path you're walking. Because that's strictly yours. It can never be anybody else's. And nobody else can ever know what you've been through on that walk and where you're going on that walk. Most of the time, we don't even know where we're going on that walk. If you stop and think about it. Most of us just put one foot in front of the other and go through each day. Until all of a sudden, our lives got turned upside down. And now we have to pay attention. Thank you, Spirit. And now we have to pay attention where we put our feet when we put that foot in front of the other. But we're still putting that foot in front of the other. I like that. Watch where you put your feet. You'll make it. Just watch where you put your feet. So let's see where we want to be. What do we want by putting down these blades? Laying down our weapons. I love this card so much, and we get it often here. Maybe it's because it's attracted to me because I love it when I see it. I don't know. The overflow card. We want to be overwhelmed with plenty. So much so that it oozes and overflows out of everything, everywhere. Our homes, our statues. This guy right here. I mean, there's even bubbles of it. But look at the water. It's reflecting it all back. You know what this card is telling me? Match the energy. What you send out comes back to you. Do you want kindness? Do you want love? Do you want prosperity? Then give of yourself freely. Be loving. Be kind. Be giving. And I mean financially. Don't worry about how am I going to get my next meal. If you've got something to share with someone in your meal, do it. Because I believe you me, the next meal that comes to you will be enough for more than you. Wow. This is a 7 card. Yeah, it's appropriate because it's about reflection. Pointed out the reflection there. It's about assessment. Whoops, get it over here. And it's also about control. When that overwhelm, overflow of all that plenty, you kind of need to guide where it's going into the appropriate places. Oh, I hear. Spirit is saying, we will no longer have to worry about where it is going. Because that is going away. Oh my. Oh, I see. It's when you give, it is not up to you to control how it is received and used. It is only up to you to give. That's like being a card reader. When I first started doing this, I was terrified of having to give somebody bad news. How do you tell somebody bad news? And then it was pointed out to me that that's not my job to make that kind of a judgment. It's my job to impart the information and impart it in a way that has a solution, not a fear attached to it. So you don't just say, oh my goodness, you know, you could, if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, you could have an accident on the way home and then have somebody laugh that off and then the accident happens. You don't need to feel guilty because they laughed it off and didn't pay attention. It's just up to us to decide how much we want to be obligated for the things that we do and say and the energy we put out there, especially when it's a response to something, because it does reflect on you in the future. It changes your energy. It can, if you let it. Okay, let's take a look at this card. This card, Gaia. What you got to say? These two cards were pretty heavy. What we got going on? Huh? We have the inner healer. Not in this picture. I see a woman healing the soil so plants can grow, trying to keep it all in a bubble so that it's not wasted or destroyed, kept pure. And yet I see just both her hands are holding this bubble. But the water vessels over here. Healthy soil needs water because water is life. Also, you have butterflies and moths transforming. Oh my goodness. And look back here behind her. Whether you look at it as the sun or the moon, that's an eclipse behind her. Behind her back, is she trying to hide from the transformation that's coming because the work it's requiring to hold together those things that she wants or needs to let go of, but cannot let go of for some reason? And if she cannot let go of whatever it is, the nourishment of the water over here just keeps evaporating away. Doesn't nourish her, doesn't nourish the soil, and in turn does not nourish life. Don't turn your back on the events of what's going on right now. I know they make you emotional. Water in the vessel. And then they do us all. I'm looking at that card, the number 13. It's a 4 card. So it's the card of manifestation. What do you want to create? What are you wanting to create? It's also about stability and foundation. She's on her knees here in the card. See, she's on her knees. So she's stable in her stance, but she cannot nourish what she's holding on to desperately. She can't nourish it as long as she holds on to it. And thus is a paradox. Thus is an obstacle. What are you holding on to that is no longer work for you? That is actually preventing you from nourishment and moving on. Speaking of nourishment, I need a drink. Let's see what the mountain has to tell us. Thank you very much, Gaia. Ooh, King of Wands. Okay. Here you go. Isn't that funny? I love this card. Got his salamander. Got his cat. And he's directing everything. From where he sits, he can ponder his whole creation. And he's loud and he's proud and he's got questions. Interesting. The King of Wands, huh? For a mountain, for an obstacle. Okay. The action. Okay. You are most certainly in charge around here. Use your special skills to direct the days however you see fit. Use your special powers to direct your days how you see fit. It's your life, your path. Use your special skills. Give back. And don't hold back. You've got this. What are you afraid of? What are you holding on to down here? I'm going to move that out of the way. What are you holding on to down here? So desperately that you can't even nourish yourself anymore. He's yelling at it. He's screaming it from the mountaintop. This card is telling you have to climb the mountain. You have to reach the top where you can hear him. That megaphone is there for a reason. It's an earth card. So interesting how it's so connected. The mountain and the valley are totally connected to each other. Let's see what we get as a message from Spirit, because what I'm seeing here is prepare during your eclipse season by laying down your anger and your weapons. You have tools to use, not weapons. Besides that, your weapons are old and tired. We are searching for overflow. We want to be overwhelmed with plenty. So much so that it's reflected back onto us so that we can give it away freely. And as we give it away, we will be letting go of those things that no longer serve us, that we are so desperately holding on to the point where we have no nourishment. This is scarcity mentality. And that has to change in this eclipse season to even attain overflow. You have to get in the flow to get overflow. So how do we manage all this? How do we get all around all of this? We need a map. Got to be the magical shapeshifter. You have to be adaptable, you guys. Don't worry about time or direction. Is that a clock or a compass on her chest? Come on, camera. There we go. Is that a clock or a compass? Looks like a compass. Then it must be a clock that's in her hand. Here. In her hand right there. She's trying to work awfully hard right here with her to get some air movement, to get the flow going. When all she has to do is move her wings back here, because that will get the air moving through infinity. This card is also saying don't worry about the moon being the magical shapeshifter. The moon is magical. And it's always changing its shape in a consistent and direct way. Stop working so hard to get nowhere because you're worrying. Lay down your anger with your blade. There is no need for that rusty blade anymore in a world of overflow. You are the director of your path. Up here, this mountain. You're the director of where you're going, which direction you turn, how you accept what you accept in this world and in this life. That's your path. But down here, you never want to forget that you do need to heal. And there's things that happen to us. We have traumas and things as we're going on this path. It's supposed to happen. There are lessons to teach us. But unless we access this inner healing that only occurs when you let all the unnecessary holding on to stuff go, take a chance. Give it back. Give it back to the creation. Give it to people who need it. That thing that you really, really love, give it away. Watch your attachments. And that's how you will heal. Because the nourishment of the water, the nourishment of the flow is over here. And you can't reach it. And you can't access it. Until you do. Let that go. Okay, let's see what the Earth Wisdom card has to say. This is our message from Spirit, you guys. This has really been a powerful reading. You have to adapt. It's fascinating. We have a 7 card and a 7 card. It's reflection, assessment, control yourself. Not to the point where you're uncomfortable. Just be in the moment now. There are certain words in the vocabulary that we use too much, like waiting. I got to thinking about that. I heard Eckhart Tolle the other day on Instagram had something about waiting in line. Next time you're waiting in line, stop telling yourself you're waiting. Don't wait. Just relax. Be in the moment. Observe. Be in the now. Breathe. You're there. Like you're at the DMV. What are you going to do? Is your getting all worked up going to change anything? Or is it going to make everyone around you uncomfortable as well as drive yourself cuckoo? So, Earth Wisdom, what do we need to know here? Whoop, upside down. Relief. Relief. She looks so calm and at peace. And look, it's the 22 card. Love and angelic partnerships. Duality, it's about balance. It's a master number. The flower she has in her hand. I will look this up in the book so that we know. Because I don't have this deck memorized. I have too many decks to memorize them all. So let's see what this is, okay? Flowers that are in her hand. Relief. It's lemon balm. And around her neck is a rhodonite stone. The lemon balm makes things easier to beat. It eases an overwhelming sense of responsibility and lightens a too serious mood. Tired of adulting? I sure am sometimes. Rhodonite aids in restoration and recovery. You've been carrying a heavy load for too long now. The overwhelming sense of responsibility has grown all out of proportion to the reality of the situation. Relief is at hand. All you have to do is reach out and grasp it. But in order to do that, you must release what you are clutching. Let it go. You don't need to carry it anymore. Tell yourself, I have carried the burden for long enough. It is time to let it go. I release the burden to the divine and accept the relief that comes as I let it go. I let myself rest. What burdens are you carrying that you no longer need to carry? For that matter, what burdens do you ever need to carry? Let it go. It's only in your power to release it, to heal it. You cannot feel the overwhelm and overflow of plenty until we do. Wow, big message here on letting it go, huh? We're in a shift. Our world is changing. What do we get to know here? To take what we need. Here's what we need to know. As we're going out, setting clear boundaries is an act of self-love. I don't know why this does not want to focus for me. There! Setting clear boundaries is an act of self-love. Boy, is that ever the truth. The relief you are seeking is already within you. The only thing that's holding you back is whatever you won't let go of. Get out of the desert, please. You're fine. You got this. And you know what? Patience really means everything. But to survive this mess, you're going to have to set some boundaries. You're going to have to learn to use the word no if you don't use it now. And that's all I can say. So in this world of what's in it for me, ask, what can I do for you? What's in it for you? What can I do for you? Let's get a message to send us out of here because we've gone long enough, don't you think? I think so too. What are our pets and our animal brothers and sisters telling us? Oh, yes. A bad day doesn't mean a bad life. Tomorrow will be different. I love it. So beautiful. Tomorrow, over here, will be different. Oh, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I know your time is important. And I just want you to understand how important your time is to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Be kind to one another. Let's make kindness a habit again. But you know, most of all, be kind to you. Let's lay our weapons down and breathe. Let it heal by letting it go. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.